Welcome to today's video. This is Blessed Elvis. So in today's lesson, we are going to discuss the introduction to exponential functions, of which we are going to look at some of the rules of the indices. So a more detailed video is explained in part 2 of the same title. So make sure that you look out on that video. So kindly subscribe to the channel so that you are updated whenever I upload a new video such as this one. So let's dive into some of the rules that we follow. So the first rule that we are going to discuss is the division rule. So according to the indices, when you are dividing the same bases, you subtract the powers. So let's say the bases are represented by letter m. Let's say we have m here and we are dividing. Let's say here we have power 2 and here we have power 3. When you are dividing the same bases here, or the same values I can say, you simply subtract the powers. So this is the same as you rewrite the same variable that is present, or the same value that is present, or the same base I can say, and then you subtract the powers. So that is 2 minus 3, of which we know 2 minus 3 is negative 1. So this is the answer. So you may have different kinds of values. Let's represent this by base 2. Let's say we are dividing it. Okay, let's say we are dividing it by 2, and then here we have 4. So since we are dividing the same bases here, it means that we are going to subtract the powers. So all you have to do is rewrite the given. You have to rewrite the given base and then subtract the powers. So it's going to be 2 power 2 minus 4. So this is the idea behind this concept that we are discussing here. So of which we know 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Okay, so here you may have different values. Let's look at the last one. Let's say you have 5 power 3. So you may pause the video and try this one. And then we have 2 here. So since we are dividing the same bases, we are going to subtract the powers. That is 3 minus 2. So 3 minus 2, it's simply 1. And 5 power 1 is the same as just 5. So this is the idea behind it. However, they may write the answer in advance. What I mean is, you may just be given to say m 3 minus 2. So all you have to know is understand where this is coming from. So since the power is being subtracted, it means somewhere they had divided the same bases. So that is m and then divide by m squared. So this can also be written as m power 3 over m squared. So this is just the same thing as this here. So if you have been given such kind of value here, you have to rewrite it according to where they came from, of which we know is this. So if you have 2 power 2x minus 3, this is the same as 2 power 2x divided by 2 power 3. So this is where it came from. So since we are dividing the same bases, it means we are going to subtract the powers. So this can also be written as 2 power 2x over 2 power 3. So this is where basically it came from. So we are just understanding the rules of indices. So let's look at multiplication rule. So multiplication rule goes that whenever you are multiplying the same bases, you add the powers. So it's just the opposite of division rule. So let's say you have m power 3 multiplied by m squared. So if you are dividing the same, or rather multiplying the same bases, you add the powers. So in this case, we're going to have the same base and then you add the powers. That is 3 plus 2. So this, rather let's simplify further the power. So 3 plus 2 is simply 5. So this is the answer. So you may have, let's say 2 power 2x, then multiplied by 2 power y. So since we are multiplying the same bases, it means we are going to add the power. So you rewrite one base and then add the powers. That is 2x plus y. So this is the answer. However, you may be given this in advance. So your job is understanding where they got this from. So since we are adding the powers, it means we multiplied the same what? The same bases. So this is the same as 2 power 2x and then multiplied by 2 power y. So this is where this came from. It came from this. So these are very, very important two rules that you must understand whenever we are dealing with exponential functions, because it's simplifying these two concepts that will help us go further into solving exponential functions, which I have done in part 2 of the same topic. So make sure that you subscribe and then you find the part 2 of the same video, because that one is a more detailed one. Okay, so let's look at a few examples. Let's say you have been asked to solve 2, let's say power 2x, let's say plus 4, let's say equals to 16. So how can we solve this? So for us to add the powers here, it means we multiply the same bases, right? By now you understand this. So it means we multiply the same bases, that is also 2 power 4. Okay, equals to, now we know 16 is the same as 2 power what? Power 4. Okay? So in this case, when you have the same bases, you simply cancel them out. However, this is basically not how we solve this expression. I just want you to understand where this came from. Okay? So let's now solve the given expression on top there. Let's say you have been asked to find the value of x. So how can you go about that one? So in this case, the first step that we have to do here is to simplify this so that you may have the same base as that. So in this case, we're going to have 2 power 2x plus 4 equals to 16 is the same as 2 power 4. So since we have the same bases, you simply cancel them out and then rewrite the powers. So we have that. So when this 4 comes to the right side, it will be 4 minus 4. So here we are going to remain with 2x, and then 4 minus 4, it's what? It's 0. So in this case, we are going to have 2x equals to 0. And then when we divide 2 into 0, we have 2x equals to 0. When we divide 2 to both sides here and there, we are going to remain here with x equals to 2 into 0, it's simply 0. So this is the value of x. Now let's say you have been given an expression where you have 3, let's say 2y divided by, let's say 9. Let's say this is equal to 27. So how can you find the value of x for this one? So here, you can write this having the same bases. We know that this can as well be written as divided by, we can simplify 9 because 9 is 3 power 2. So it's the same as 3 power 2 equals to 3. 27 is the same as 3 power 3. So here, since we are dividing the same bases, this and this, according to the rules, it means we are subtracting what? The powers. So this is the same as 3 power 2y, then minus 2. By now, I'm sure you understand, because when you are dividing the same bases, you subtract the powers. Remember, here we have 3 power 3. So if you are equating the same bases, you simply cancel the bases and then remain with the powers. So let me just wrap the top part here. So here, remember, we are remaining with the power 2y minus 2 equals to what? 3 here. So we are going to remain with 3. And then when we take 2 to the right side, it's going to become positive. And then 2y is going to be equal to 2 plus 3, it's 5. So in this case then, we have 2y equals to 5. So if we divide 2 to both sides, we are going to remain with y equals to 5 over 2. So this is the answer for y. So let's look at another example. Let's say you have let's say you have 4 power x, and then let's say you are multiplying with let's say 64. Let's say this equals to let's say we have 16. So how can you find the value of x here? So in this case, we first have to simplify this. So since we are multiplying here, let's make this one have the same base with this one. So we know that 64 is the same as 4 power what? Power 3. So this equals to, here, since we have 16, we can simplify this because we know 16 is the same as 4 power 2. Okay, so since we are dividing the same bases, or rather, sorry, it's multiplication there, it has to be multiplication. I am used to division, so here it's multiplication. So since we are multiplying the same bases, it means we are going to add the powers. So this is the same as 4x, then plus 3 equals to 4 squared. So since we are equating the same bases, we simply cancel them out and then remain with powers, that is x plus 3 equals to 2. So go ahead and find the value of x for that. So how can we solve the value of x for the resulting expression that we have down there? So in this case, we are going to take 3 to the right side and it's going to become what? Negative. So we are going to remain with x equals to 2 minus 3, it's what? It's negative 1. So this is the value of x. So these are basically the rules that we use when we are finding the values of x in the exponential functions. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel and watch out for part 2, where I have explained in more details and looks at more different or complicated examples, so that you can have a clear picture of the whole topic of exponential functions. So this is all for this video. Thanks once again, guys, for staying this far. Please like, subscribe, share, and turn on the notification button so that you are updated whenever I upload a new video. Stay blessed.